Hi everyone. So I am in a unique position in my career where I spend 4 months living in Goa. So I live in South Goa with my family. I spend 6 months in Dubai and 2 months we travel and see the world, live across different parts of the world. So that is what my life looks like. Now, this is not bragging kind of a thing that I'm doing. I genuinely wanted to explain this point so that I can set the context that this type of a lifestyle allows me to meet a lot of people. So I meet a lot of young couples, and if I'm meeting couples from India, we usually sort of speak about like their finances. They ask me for my inputs on their situation. So what I've noticed is that couples working in Dubai are able to build crazy wealth. So let's work through the Indian couple example. So if you're husband wife making a combined income of 40 lakhs in India, in a city like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, then that is considered to be really good salary, right? It's not easy to get a combined income of 40 lakhs, and many people will agree with me, right? Some will disagree, but mostly 40 lakhs, we can put it as like gold standard salary in India, okay? Now here, if you are earning 40 lakhs as salary, then roughly you'll be paying 25% tax. I'm saying roughly, not looking after every deduction, all that. Net income comes out to be 30 lakhs. And again, if you're living in a metro, your at least rough expense will be somewhere around 1.5 lakhs, right? I'm doing very broad mathematics. So which puts a net savings amount of 12 lakhs after 1 year, okay? Now let's work with second example, equivalent example in UAE/Dubai. Now here, if you're a couple, you can make 30,000 dirhams as salary, multiply the dirhams amount by roughly 23.5, right? And you reach the numbers. So again, 30,000 salary here is not, I would not say gold standard. People make a lot more, but 30,000 combined income of husband and wife here puts you in a decent job, white collar job, right? So, okay, so let's work through that example. So here, if you're a couple making 30,000 dirhams as salary, your taxes are zero, right? You can live well at 120 to 130,000 dirhams salary a year. So that puts your net savings at 120,000 yearly or 29 lakh rupees. Now this is where the story ends. People think, Acha, okay, fine. At one place I'm saving like 12 lakhs and another place I'm saving close to 30 lakhs. Okay, it's like almost like 2.5x. No, that is where the story starts. It doesn't end, because third point is what people miss. For example, if the couple in India, they put their combined savings, whatever they have saved at the end of the year, into Indian markets or US markets, stocks, real estate, wherever, whichever investment option they pick, they are most likely going to pay at least a 12.5% LTCG tax. Now, is this the case in UAE couple? The short answer is no, and I'll explain it subsequently on the video why is that the case. They might end up paying 0% tax on that entire wealth that they are creating. So with that example out of the way, let me discuss 8 key points that you need to keep in mind in case you are looking to move to Dubai. The first key point is that, hey, okay, fine, you gave like an example where I can become like a multi-millionaire. So tomorrow only I'll come and I'll figure out a job. See, it's not easy, because for example, if you consider US, most of the jobs in the US, close to like 40 to 50% of the jobs, they are gotten through referrals. Now in India, that referral system is kind of getting built. Referral means that you know me, so I refer you in a company, and through that you get a job. It's not jugaadbazi, it's how typically people get jobs in the US. So this is more prominent in the Western culture. Now if you come to the Middle East, now here there is a lot of demand for jobs. Why? Because of tax-free nature that I had earlier spoken about. So the competition for jobs is crazy, right? Here, almost 70% of the jobs that people are getting now, it's via networking. So if you just send anything on LinkedIn or like, whatever social media platform, or send resumes to random people, you're not going to get anything, okay? So this is a very important point, that getting a job in Dubai is very challenging. I don't want to paint any rosy pictures here. It's tough to get a job, but if you get a job, but definitely ability to build wealth goes up significantly. Now, am I trying to discourage you that you can't get a job? No, people can get jobs. People are still getting jobs. It's just that how you position your profile, which goes beyond the scope of this video. But if you learn, if you focus your energy in terms of cultivating your network, attending networking event. So I'm doing one networking event in Dubai. So in case you guys are interested, you guys can join in. It's an investor-centric conference. In case you are interested in learning about real estate, US equities, UAE equities. So I will be teaching there, but again, you will have a huge turnout, right? And you will get to network with wide range of people who are coming here and which are primarily from UAE. So in case you guys are keen, then you can definitely consider joining that. It might be a worthwhile investment. So I've put the links in the description and comment box, and you can check whether that conference will be helpful for you or not. So having said this, the first thing that you need to understand is that it's difficult to find a job in Dubai, not impossible. But if you find a job, then what type of job you need to look at, right? So ideally, you should look at a salary range of at least, let's say 10,000 dirhams, right? So that's where the story starts in order to live any kind of good life here, so to say. And of course, if your partner is there, then he or she should also be working. Just to give you an idea of the income split. So here is what the data tells us, that the monthly average salary is somewhere between 13 to 15,000 dirhams. So this is literally the starting range that I would propose, that if you're getting jobs like these, which are paying like 15,000 or up, and both of you can get it, then it can put you ahead in terms of your wealth building journey. These are the types that you should look at, right? Now, which industries are offering these jobs in UAE/Dubai? Well, blockchain, a lot of work is happening. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, these types, a lot of stuff is happening. Startups, you can get a job. Now, natural question comes that, you know what, okay, that can I as an Indian get a job? Yes, you can get a job. It's not as if that you can't get a job. It's difficult, but if you network really well, and if you primarily take networking based approach, then the odds of you finding a job goes up significantly. Now, a lot depends on your background profile, which I'll not get into this video. But the first key thing is the income level and difficulty of finding a job. So I'll put difficulty of finding a job high, but if you get a decent job in any growing field, then the chances are that you will easily make like 12,000 plus dirham salaries. Okay, so this is one. This is the income part. The second key part is the expense part. That okay, fine, I got the job. The second key thing that I need to worry about is that how much am I expensing, right? So okay, so let's work through a number. That what is that golden number that you need to keep in mind? Now this number varies dramatically because Dubai/UAE is a geography where there are numerous options. For example, if you want to live in a 1 crore month villa, that is also there. And on the flip side, if you want to live in a 2-bedroom, which costs you, let's say 1.5 lakh a month, that is also possible, right? So both the possibilities are there. So this range is huge, but I think the way to calculate your expenses would be look at rent, because that is going to be the biggest expense that you will undertake. And I will put this number for a couple, roughly around 120,000 dirhams a year. Now, can you save on this? Yes. So you move to other Emirates. For example, Sharjah. People think that Sharjah is in some middle of the desert. No, it's actually like, I mean, if you go in non-peak traffic hours, then to go from downtown in Dubai Mall to like Sharjah, some areas, it takes maybe like 25 minutes. Okay, so it's not that far off, to be honest. And there, if you live or rent, then you can dramatically cut your cost of living. Okay, so a lot depends, but if I have to put the expense number, I'll not go into every tiny detail. Maybe I'll do a separate video on this topic. But to cut the long story short, your rent will be at least like around 120, 130K, and total expenses a year that you're looking at would be somewhere around 200,000 dirhams. So which brings us to the third point, which is the net savings. Now, the good thing is that if you as a couple are combining both of the incomes, right? So let's start with 15,000 dirhams. So 15 plus 15, 30. So in a year, you are making 360,000 dirhams as combined income, and you are expensing 200,000 dirhams as expenses. So you are left with how much? 160,000 dirhams. Okay. So which is very, very high. That is close to like 35, 40 lakhs of savings, which is crazy on a yearly basis. Then comes the fourth point, which is investing. Okay. So now investing means that you are putting your money, right? Now it is growing, and then you are paying taxes on that as well. For example, in India, if you are investing money, right, and you build a portfolio of, let's say you invested 30 lakhs, then that number became like 50 lakhs, you booked 20 lakhs of profit. And then on that 20 lakhs of profit, you have to pay 12.5% as capital gains tax. Okay. If you are in UAE as a couple and you're investing in, let's say, US markets, and the same situation plays out, that you invested 30 lakhs in dirham terms or USD terms, it went to 50 lakhs, you booked like 20 lakhs of profit. How much tax do you pay? The answer is 0%. And if you're a young couple, and if you do this game for the next 30 years, then you can imagine how much money you are saving over a long period of time. That's just one part of the equation, because here I'm speaking about buy and hold type of an investor, that, okay, at the end of your life, maybe like you might have like, 30, 40 crore portfolio, and 12.5% of it is huge. Okay. So that's a huge number, but that's for long term. Living in Dubai opens up other investment opportunities. For example, if you want to buy new asset classes like cryptos, or if you want to buy UAE denominated bonds, that's very good. It also gives you a hedge. For example, if you want to invest in US dollar only, okay, or dirhams. Now, dirhams is pegged to INR. Okay, so all these points are additional advantages because INR keeps on falling in value. Now, if you made, let's say, hypothetically 50 lakhs in Mumbai and you just kept it in your savings account or FDs भी करा ली, then there is a fall of INR that happens. Okay, in UAE, because of zero taxation and pegging of AED to US dollar, there is no depreciation of AED that happens. Now, let me explain that point mathematically why it kind of makes sense. So, let me help you understand through the FD rates. Okay, so FD rates, for example, in India are roughly like 7%, right? And if you are in the highest tax slab, you will be taxed at slab. Okay, so you will make like net 5%. Now INR depreciates to US dollar by roughly 4%. Okay, so your net returns are how much on FDs? Now your net returns in USD terms is how much? 1%, right? Now what about UAE, right? So in UAE, what is the going bank rate? So even if you go and deposit your money in stable banks, right? I mean, tier 1 banks, right? ADCB, FAB and all that, you will be making like maybe 3.5% as FD rates. This is in dirhams or USD terms. So we are doing all computation in USD terms, right? Therefore, we are not considering any depreciation of dirhams or US dollars because we are setting the base currency as US dollar, right? There is zero tax. So what's the net return that you are making? Here you are making 3.5% as net, right? Here you are making 1%. Now this opens up bond as an investment opportunity. Now comes the fifth point, which has to do with safety and quality of life. So Dubai is safe. I'll not belabor that point, that it is one of the safest cities to live. You can get a cab easily at 3 a.m. in the morning or whatever, whenever you want to go. Come here and there. It's fairly easy to travel around. It's not that complicated. The only issue that I see is traffic, right? Especially on certain roads at certain peak traffic hours. But I guess that's the problem with almost every metro, so to say, right? So I will not sort of put Dubai in a negative bucket there, but generally quality of life perspective, right? Be it the quality of ingredients or availability of ingredient, it's pretty good, pretty nice. Then comes the next point that people typically miss about UAE/Dubai is the opportunities. I usually think things from my kids' perspective, right? That okay, where my kids are going to get good opportunities, like where if they want to build business someday, would it be stable? Would it not be stable? How stable would be the regulations and all that stuff? So I find Dubai to be good business friendly from that angle to international investors. As long as you're law abiding, you're a clean person, you have white money and all that stuff, there is no problem, right? And you don't require high level contacts and all that. As long as you do your work properly, sincerely, honestly, and are genuinely adding value to their economy, it's good enough, right? So it's a good, stable, investor friendly climate, right? And one of the reasons for that is that Dubai/UAE welcomes expatriates. Almost 40 to 50% of UAE's population comprises of Indians, which again brings up the topic of connectivity to India. So Dubai is fairly well connected. So from that angle also, it is a perk. But just wrapping up the conversation around the opportunity point, I feel that, in the next 15-20 years, the world will be very different, focusing on artificial intelligence, machine learning, or some variant of it, right? So having that ecosystem where you can go attend workshops, events, schools are teaching you about it, there are practical exposure opportunities being given. I feel that is very useful. While we are homeschooling, my wife and I are homeschooling our kids, but that does not mean that we'll not put them in activities. So finding these type of communities, these type of activities is very useful for us. So yeah, so I mean, from that angle, there are a lot of activities, events that keep on happening in Dubai/UAE. So it has a kids-friendly climate, kids-friendly environment. So I feel that it's good from that angle. So the next point has to do with weather, because every time I put some video on UAE/Dubai, there are always comments, it's a hot desert, this, that stuff. Surprisingly, even I used to think that okay, UAE is 12 months of hot summer and it's just going to be bad. But surprisingly, it was very, very nice. So I've almost been here for 8 months now, 7-8 months now, and I've enjoyed the winters, which is Dubai winter, which start from roughly October and November and up until now, March, when I'm shooting this video. If I have to go outside and walk, I have to put a windbreaker or a very light jacket, right? So it's very, very nice. Summer was brutal, no doubt about that, but entire Dubai is built around the fact that you have to deal with summers, right? So homes would have central ACs and everything. There is usually a Camry which works as a cab, right, or taxi. So that's pretty good. If you're going to any area, you will usually have a mall and everything. So it doesn't really hit you, right, from that angle in summers. But having said this, summers are brutal. What is my plan on summers? Well, I'll go to some other country and live there for a little while and share my experience of living there with you and bring some useful, insightful investment knowledge for you. Then comes the final point, which has to do with community, because this is one topic which always comes up, that okay, if you're living outside India, it doesn't feel like India, right? Which might be a plus or minus depending on how you're seeing it. But this feeling of community is not missing in UAE. Now in UAE, because there are so many Indians, like, I mean, for example, the watchman in my building, he's from Uttar Pradesh. Now if I go to a shopping center or a supermart nearby, then the entire staff is from like Nepal, right? And then so on and so forth. So you'll keep on meeting like a lot of Asians, you'll keep on meeting a lot of South Asians. So even when your parents come, they don't feel like that, okay, they are missing home per se, right? So it doesn't feel that way, right? The food is very aligned to our palate. So comes the final point that, okay, what are the cons, right? If I have to just bullet it out. Number one, finding jobs is tough, no doubt about it. It is tough because it's tax-free and it's worth it, right? Number two, the cost of living is high. So both partners need to be working, or one partner need to be making crazy amount of money, right? So that's two, right? This is a genuine thing. So you have to plan. Number three is the weather during certain times of the year. So these are the three biggest negatives that I would say, right, in terms of living in Dubai. But if you can handle this, if you're young, if you're ambitious, if you're looking for opportunities, if you're restructuring your portfolio from a long-term perspective, then Dubai/UAE is a good destination from that. These were my honest impressions. Next, when I shoot a similar video, I'll do an analytical comparison between my life in Goa and my life in Dubai. And I will show you the pros and cons of living across both these locations. And I'll bring my wife along also on that video. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and I'll see you soon.